It's 6:47 p.m. You're standing in your kitchen. The overhead light is on, too bright for how tired you are. Your phone buzzes on the counter face up. 4 words. We need to talk. Your stomach drops first. Before your eyes even finish reading the sentence for a second time, your hand, holding the dish towel, just stops. Your chest goes tight, high and shallow, like someone reached in and grabbed hold. Your jaw is already clenched. You didn't tell it to clench, it just did. Nothing has happened yet. No bad news, no confirmed disaster, just 4 words, a slightly flat tone, and a body that is already 3 steps into a conversation that hasn't started yet. You know this exact feeling. You stood in some version of that kitchen before. And I want to tell you something before we go any further. Your body didn't hear 4 words tonight. It heard every time those words came right before something broke. Every fight that started exactly this way. Every friendship that ended exactly this way. Every version of you who ever braced after a sentence that sounded a little too much like this one. And that's not overreacting. That's a receipt your nervous system has been holding on to, sometimes for years. And today, we're going to open the folder and actually look at what's happening inside it together. Welcome to The Regulated Life, where relational nervous system science meets real life healing. If your body is tired of protecting you from the people you love most, you're in the right place. Here's the question we're spending the next 20 minutes on. Why does one small moment, a tone shift, a delayed text, a sigh across the room, sometimes feel like it cost you everything? Not annoying, not mildly uncomfortable, everything. Like your whole nervous system just declared a state of emergency over something that, on paper, barely registers as an event. You felt this. Everyone listening to this has felt this. That specific disorienting gap between how big something actually was and how big it felt inside your body. And you've probably called it being too sensitive, or worse, being dramatic, or quietest and worst of all, just decided something is fundamentally wrong with you for reacting the way you did. I want to offer you something different today. Something I wish someone had told me years before I found it myself. You are not too sensitive. Your body is doing math you can't see. Fast, silent, background math. And by the time the feeling reaches you, the calculations are already done. You just get the results. Here's what's actually happening. And I want to walk through this slowly because once you see it, you genuinely cannot unsee it. I promise you that. Picture your amygdala, that small almond-shaped structure deep in your brain, as a security guard who has watched every single piece of security footage from every relational threat you've ever survived. Every raised voice, every disappearing act, every version of "we need to talk" that led somewhere painful. Every silence that turned out to mean something was deeply wrong. That guard has been on shift your entire life. And here's the part almost nobody tells you. It has never once taken a break to reorganize the footage, to sort it, to label it resolved, and move it to a back room. Here's the part that matters most. The part that changes everything once you understand it. That guard doesn't file each moment as a separate incident with its own folder and its own case number. It files them all together, one shared folder, labeled simply and permanently danger. So when a new moment even loosely matches the shape of an old one, the same tightening in the chest, the same dropping sensation in the gut, the same half-second pause before someone speaks, your nervous system doesn't respond to what's actually happening right now in this room with this person. It responds to the whole folder at once, every entry all at once, instantly before your conscious mind has even caught up. This is the foundation of what Peter Levine, the founder of Somatic experiencing, has spent decades researching. His work shows that the body stores unresolved threat as physical activation, not as a tidy story with a beginning, a middle, and a resolved end. The moment doesn't get remembered the way you'd remember, say, a phone number or a fact from a textbook. It gets held, physically, in your shoulders, in your jaw, in the way your breath catches before you've even consciously registered what set it off. The more unresolved relational moments your body is holding, the bigger a small present moment trigger can feel. That's not a metaphor, and it's not an exaggeration for effect. That's a direct, measurable, physiological relationship. More unresolved weight sitting in the folder equals more force behind the reaction that comes out. That's the receipt. Your body isn't being dramatic. It's being thorough. It's doing exactly what it evolved to do across an enormous span of time, using every piece of past data available to it to keep you safe in the present moment. The tragedy is simply that the present moment, most of the time, doesn't actually deserve the full weight of the folder it's getting charged. Let's make this real because I don't want this to stay abstract. Think about the last time someone's voice shifted a half a register. Just slightly flatter, slightly more clipped than usual, barely perceptible to anyone standing outside the moment. And you were suddenly braced, defensive, or already 3 full steps into an argument that hadn't even started yet. From the outside, watching you, it looked like an overreaction. A half-registered shift in someone's voice does not, on its own, justify a full nervous system alert. But from the inside, from inside your actual body, it was never an overreaction. It was your nervous system pattern matching in real time, at a speed your conscious mind could never keep up with, pulling every past receipt that had ever felt like this and responding to the total, not to the single transaction happening in front of you. And I think part of you has wondered quietly, maybe only at 2 a.m., maybe only in the shower when nobody can see your face, whether you're just too much, too reactive, too easily set off, especially compared to other people who seem to move through these exact moments so much more calmly, so much more gracefully. It's not too much. It's unresolved. Those are 2 entirely different things, and only one of them is actually about your character. This is also exactly where your sensory archetype shows up. Whichever protective pattern your nervous system built over years, over a lifetime of navigating relationships, it's the one running the receipt reading in the background, deciding faster than conscious thought exactly how to respond to what the folder says. Some of you brace and go still, holding everything in, looking entirely composed on the outside while your whole system is quietly on high alert. Some of you go quiet and disappear inward, needing distance before your body can settle even slightly. Some of you reach for reassurance immediately, needing to hear "we're okay" out loud before anything in you can rest. We're going to go deeper into each of these individual patterns starting next week. Walking through all 6 sensory archetypes one at a time, 1 full episode each. But for today, the point I want you to really sit with is simpler. The size of your reaction was never really about the size of the moment in front of you. It was about the size of the folder that moment happened to crack open. So what do you actually do with the body that is still filing new moments into this folder? A body that can't yet tell the difference in real time, in the actual heat of the moment between this is happening right now and this reminds me of something that already happened years ago to a different version of me. As you start noticing the gap between what actually happened and what it felt like inside your body, you begin to create a small window. A pause really, however brief, where you can respond instead of react automatically. That window doesn't appear all at once fully formed. It starts small. It starts with noticing. Here's the tool, and we're going to build out fully across this week's raw regulation episodes, adding a new layer each day, Tuesday through Friday. Before you respond to a moment that's activating you, ask your body one direct question. Is this happening now, or is this a receipt? You don't have to answer it perfectly, and you don't have to answer it fast. You don't have to answer it perfectly, and you don't have to answer it fast. Just asking it out loud or even silently internally starts to give your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain actually capable of telling then from now, a genuine chance to come back online after the amygdala's alarm has already gone off. This matters because of what happens biologically when the amygdala takes over. It essentially hijacks resources away from the prefrontal cortex, That's the actual physical reason you can feel like you're not thinking clearly in the triggered moment because you genuinely aren't, not in the way you normally would be able to. Asking a direct, specific question requires just enough deliberate cognitive engagement to start pulling some of those resources back online. It's not a trick. It's a small, deliberate bridge back to the thinking part of your brain. You can start noticing this the very next time it happens in real life, unplanned, in the middle of an actual moment. Or you can start practicing it right now, deliberately, this week, with the tools we're building. Either way, your body starts learning that it's allowed to update the file, that the folder doesn't have to stay exactly as it is forever. Next week, we start walking through each sensory archetype one at a time, beginning with the armored, the pattern of looking completely fine on the outside, but your body is bracing behind scenes, holding tension nobody else in the room can see. If you've ever wondered why you can seem entirely composed in the moment while internally you're somewhere else entirely, miles away, braced, guarded, already gone, that conversation is next week, and I genuinely don't think you're going to want to miss it. Before you try to fix the relationship, find out what survival pattern your body is running. Take the Relational Nervous System quiz at mind-fusion.com/quiz. And if this episode helped your body exhale even 1 inch, share it with someone who's still calling their survival pattern a personality flaw.